everyone, welcome to On This Day. On this day, we take a day from history. Today being the 15th of February, we look at people who were born, people who died, and we look at the events that happened on that day. We also finish with fun facts today. Fun facts about the dwarf planet Pluto. Let's get started then, shall we? So born in 1564 was Galileo Galilei, Italian astronomer, physicist and engineer who had been called the father of science. Was born in Pisa, Duchy of Florence in Italy. He died in 1642. In 1929, Graham Hill, British auto Formula One champion in 1962 and 1968, was born in Hampstead, London. He died in 1975, and also father of Damon Hill. In 1954, Matt Groening, American cartoonist and writer, Life in Hell, The Simpsons, Futurama, was born in Portland in Oregon. So who died on this day? In 1928, H.H. Asquith, British Prime Minister for the Liberals. He was Prime Minister between 1908 and 1916, dies at 75. In 1965, Nat King Cole, American singer, unforgettable, Mona Lisa, dies of cancer at 49. That was because they would prescribe to smoke cigarettes because it's good for your throat. Yeah, really good. In 1970, Hugh Dowding, commander of the RAF Fighter Command during the Battle of Britain, dies at 87. What happened? Well, we got 16 of these today. So in 366 BC, philosopher Socrates is sentenced to death by the city of Athens for corrupting the minds of the youth of the city and for impiety. In 1676, Isaac Newton writes to Robert Hooke, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants," was one of his quotes. In 1906, British Labour Party was found. In 1922, Marconi begins regular broadcasting transmissions from Essex. In 1936, Adolf Hitler announces the construction of the Volkswagen Beetle, the People's Cars, aka the Kappa Beetle. In 1942, World War II, British ruled Singapore surrenders to the Japanese. How dare they? In 1943, wartime propaganda poster, "We Can Do It," produced by J. Howard Miller, and posted on the walls of Westinghouse Electrical and Manufacturing Company plants in the Midwest. In 1952, King George VI is buried at St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle in England. In 1965, Maple Leaf flag becomes the official flag of Canada. In 1971, 1,200 years, Great Britain abandons pence and shilling system for the decimal currency. In 1978, escaped mass murderer Ted Bundy recaptured in Pensacola, Florida. In 1989, Soviet military occupation of Afghanistan ends. In 1992, Jeffrey Dahmer found sane and guilty of killing 15 boys. To believe he actually killed 19, but there you go. In 2005, YouTube internet site on which videos may be shared and viewed by others is launched in the United States. Still going well today, and that's where you're watching this video from. In 2021, UK is the first European country to require travellers from COVID hotspots to isolate in quarantine hotels, following the countries such as Australia, New Zealand and Singapore. And in 2021, major storm in the US stretches from Texas to Maine. Over 3 million people without power in Texas, goes on to kill 210 people. So, fun facts today are about the dwarf planet that is Pluto. So Pluto is named after the Roman god of the underworld. It was proposed by Venetina Burney, an 11-year-old schoolgirl from Oxford in England. Pluto was reclassified from a planet to a dwarf planet in 2006. This is when the IAU formalised the definition of a planet as a planet is a celestial body that A, is in orbit around the sun. This is what Pluto has sufficient mass for its self-gravity to overcome rigid body forces so that it assumes a holistic equilibrium near round shape, which it does, and has a cleared the neighbourhood around its orbit. Yeah, it's not really done that. Pluto was discovered on February 18th, 1930 by the Lowell Observatory. For the 76 years between Pluto being discovered and the time it was reclassified as a dwarf planet, it completed under a third of its orbit around the Sun. Pluto has 5 known moons. The moons are Charon, discovered in 1978, Hydra and Nix, both discovered in 2005, Phobos, originally P4, discovered in 2011, and Sphinx, originally P5, discovered in 2012. Excuse me. Official designations S2011. Pluto is the largest dwarf planet that we know of. At one point it was thought this could be Eris. Currently the most accurate measurements give Eris an average dimension of 2,326 kilometers with a margin of error of 12 kilometers, while Pluto's diameter is 2,372 kilometers with a margin of 2 kilometers margin of error. Pluto is 1/3 water. This is in the form of water ice, which is more than 3 times as much water as in all of Earth's oceans. The remaining 2/3 are rock. Pluto's surface is covered with ices and has several mountain ranges, light and dark regions, and a scattering of craters. Pluto is smaller than a number of moons. These are Ganymede, Titan, Callisto, Io, Europa, Triton, and Earth's moon. Pluto has 66% of its diameter of the Earth's moon and 18% of its mass, while it is now confirmed that Pluto is the largest dwarf planet. For around 10 years it was thought that this was Eris. I already told you that, haven't I? Pluto has a eccentric and inclined orbit. This takes it between 4.4 and 7.3 billion kilometers from the Sun, meaning Pluto is periodically closer to the Sun than Neptune. Pluto has been visited by one spacecraft. The New Horizons spacecraft, which was launched in 2006, flew by Pluto on the 14th of February 2015 and took a series of images and other measurements. New Horizons is now on its way to the Kuiper Belt to explore even more distant objects. Pluto's location was predicted by Percival Lowell in 1915. The prediction came from deviations he initially observed in 2005 in the orbits of Uranus and Neptune. Pluto sometimes has an atmosphere. When Pluto's optical orbit takes it closer to the Sun, its surface ice falls and forms a thin atmosphere, primarily of nitrogen, which slowly escapes the planet. It also has a methane haze that covers about 161 kilometers above the surface. The methane is dissociated by sunlight into its hydrocarbons that fall to the surface and a coat of ice with a dark covering. When Pluto travels away from the Sun, the atmosphere then freezes back into a solid state. From March the 1st, Ask Google returns, and on this day replaces fun facts, fun news. That is coming soon. This has been the 15th of February. This has been on this day. We are getting rid of fun facts. We are bringing back Ask Google. What is Ask Google? Well, go and check out Ask Google on my channel and you'll find out. Basically, I ask Google some questions. That's coming soon. Something to look forward to. Anyway, this has been on this day. See you, pals.